Did you know that English once looked very different from the language we speak today? In the past, English had many complex word endings, similar to the languages like Latin or German. Over time, those endings gradually disappeared, and English became more dependent on word order and helper words. In this video, I will explain how English shifted from a synthetic language into a more analytic language. First, it is important to understand the difference between synthetic and analytic languages. A synthetic language uses inflection or word endings to show grammatical meaning. These endings can indicate tense, number, gender, or grammatical function. Because of this system, word order is usually more flexible. Old English was highly synthetic because nouns, adjectives, and verbs all change forms depending on their role in a sentence. In contrast, an analytic language depends more on word order and separate function words such as preposition and auxiliary verbs. Modern English is considered more analytic because it uses fewer inflection and relies more on sentence structure to express meaning.
Old English, which was spoken roughly between the 5th and 11th centuries, contained many grammatical endings. Nouns had different cases, such as nominative, accusative, genitive, and dative. Verbs also change forms according to tense and subject. Adjectives matched the nouns they described. Since grammatical meaning was carried by these endings, speakers could rearrange words without completely changing the meaning of the sentence. This made Old English structurally more complex than modern English. The shift from synthetic to analytic did not happen suddenly. Several historical events contributed to this change. One important factor was contact with Old Norse speakers during the Viking period. Because Old English and Old Norse were related but not identical languages, speakers often simplified grammar to communicate more easily. Another major influence came after the Norman conquest in 1066, when Norman French became widely used in England. The interaction between different language groups encouraged further simplification of English grammar. In addition, pronunciation changes weakened many word endings until they gradually disappeared over time.
As a result, modern English became more analytic. Today, English uses relatively few inflections compared to Old English. Instead of relying on grammatical endings, modern English depends heavily on fixed word order. For example, changing the order of words in a sentence can completely change its meaning. Modern English also uses auxiliary verbs such as do, have, and will, along with prepositions like to, for, and with, to express grammatical relationships that were once shown through inflections. In conclusion, the English language has undergone a major transformation from a synthetic system into a more analytic one. Old English depended heavily on inflections, while modern English relies more on word order and helper words. This shift was influenced by historical contact, social interaction, and gradual linguistic simplification. The development of English demonstrates how languages continuously evolve to meet the communication needs of their speakers.